Late night phone call with senior White House official who tells me the president is not happy with how the Department of Homeland Security has handled the response to this incident. So this is the first crack that we got. This is big because they are looking for a scapegoat 10 months ahead of a midterms where they were already about to get smacked. This indicates that the White House, Trump, somebody around him understands how poorly this is polling. The thing about Trump is that he's an actual effing idiot when it comes to policy. Like, this guy can't even point to Ukraine on a map or Russia on a map. He doesn't know anything about policy. But the thing about Trump is he instinctively knows sometimes when things are selling and when things aren't selling. Throughout the 2024 election, all he did was just be an effing salesman. He had no energy on stage, but he was trying to sell himself. That shouldn't be controversial that he sells himself. He knows right now this is not selling. So in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Trump didn't directly answer when asked whether the officer who shot Alex had done the right thing. This is a back down from Donald Trump. Trump had ordered admin officials to cover this up. Trump himself said Alex Pretti had a gun and tried to pull it out. Now, when Trump was pressed, he said, quote, "We're looking, we're reviewing everything, and we'll come out with a determination." Now, I just want to clarify, Trump doesn't actually give a shit about the shooting. He probably supports the ICE agent. He's probably happy he hyper-militarized the cities to such an extent that this happened, but he also wants to win in the midterms. He is so desperate to cling on to power that he's going to act like he didn't order the entire administration to cover this up in a reckless way. So this is his fault. The death is his fault, and the cover-up is his fault. Do not be mistaken. But Kristi Noem is now getting most of the pressure. She's getting pressure from the top, from Trump and the officials above her. She's also getting pressure from the sides, as we just learned that 70 members of Congress have formally signed an articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. It was mainly Democrats in the House and Democrats in the Senate, and just to shoot it straight with you guys, like I always do 100% of the time, under the current House of Representatives, this will not pass because Speaker Mike Johnson still has a 1 to 2 seat majority, but that is subject to change. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned earlier this month. A Republican from California passed away earlier this month, and the reports are multiple more Republicans will resign. So Kristi Noem can get impeached. We are going to win the midterms. It is going to happen, but right now we are just applying pressure in any way that we can. So Kristi Noem is getting pressure from the top, from the sides, and this is the big one. She is now facing pressure from the people working below her. The operators that she's supposed to be overseeing within the DHS are also mad. So it's the people in Congress want to impeach her, the people she's supposed to be overseeing want to revolt and overthrow her, and the people above her want to step on her like a bug. So Bill Melugin reports new. Since the deadly shooting in Minneapolis, the one that just happened, the most recent one, which is sickening I have to say, the most recent one, but the most recent shooting in Minneapolis, he's talked to more than half a dozen federal sources involved immigration enforcement, including several in senior positions, who are telling me they have grown increasingly uneasy and frustrated with some of the claims and narratives the Department of Homeland Security pushed in the aftermath of the shooting. Specifically, he's being told there is extreme frustration with DHS officials going on TV and putting out statements claiming that Alex Pretti was intending to conduct a massacre of federal agents and wanted to carry out maximum damage. That is quite literally what Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller were saying. Can you imagine that? They were saying he's an assassin trying to inflict maximum damage and massacre people. But to continue reading, it says, even after numerous videos appeared to show those claims were inaccurate. While they say it was a terrible decision to show up with a gun and inject himself into a federal law enforcement operation, there's no indication Pretti was there to murder law enforcement, as videos appear to show he never drew his holstered firearms. These sources say this messaging from DHS officials like Kristi Noem has been catastrophic from a PR and morale perspective, and is eroding trust and credibility, comparing it to when Democrats falsely claimed the border was closed or that Haitians were being whipped at the border. Some of these sources have described DHS response to the shooting as, quote, a case study on how not to do crisis PR. One said they are so fed up that they wish they could retire. Another said, quote, DHS is making the situation worse. Another said, quote, DHS is wrong and we are losing this war, we're losing the base, we're losing the narrative. These are people who work within the DHS. And remember what I was saying just a few minutes ago. The average US citizen who's attending a sports game views Alex Pretti as a hero. All of the reports and stories we've heard from people who knew him show that he's a hero. The video we've seen shows that he's a hero. So why is the administration lying so hard? Even DHS officials know the administration is lying. These sources all believe this is going to end up what they call, quote, a bad shoot in a shitty situation. No, this was not a bad shoot. That is such a minimization of what actually happened here. These are state agents executing a U.S. citizen on the street for exercising his First Amendment and Second Amendment rights and speaking out against the administration. It says, the disarmed firearm may have had an accidental discharge, but they don't know. The agents do not have the luxury of multiple slow motion angles, they're saying. All the sources support the mass deportation agenda, but have serious hesitations about the way it is being carried out. Wow, wow, wow. As the impeachments ramp up and as Americans are pissed off, we will continue to cover it. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I love you all.